Thank you for tuning in to another day of turning challenges into victories. Today is day 11 of 75 Hard, and today we're going to be talking about consistency over intensity and why consistency matters more than intensity. Consistency matters more to me right now because my life is already intense enough. I've got kids, work, projects, and training goals. If I had to go hard every single day, the wheels would fall off. But showing up every single day, I can do that. And showing up every day is what is actually going to move the needle for me. For example, today proved it because typically on Thursdays, I'm in charge of drop off and pick up, and I will do my best to cook dinner and the whole thing. I didn't need a heroic workout or the perfect schedule today. I just needed to show up, make a few small adjustments, and keep the streak alive. That's where my growth was today. Now, before we jump in to the rest of the topic, I wanted to give a quick summary on day 11. So for my indoor workout, I did a 60-minute upper body workout. For my outdoor workout, I did a 45-minute outdoor run, 30 minutes of outdoor running, and then 15 minutes of incline walking. We have a big hill by our house. For my reading, I did 12 pages of the Lombardi rules. I did my water intake, my diet, same thing, morning protein shake, almond butter shake, and then in the evening, I ended up having some shrimp, steak, eggs with spinach, beans, and then some almond flour tortillas. I will do my progress photo after I'm done with this video. And then my overall energy today was pretty good. I did wake up feeling a little bit tired this morning, but as the day progressed, I felt fine. I didn't feel sluggish. On to today's topic. Today's lack of structure forced me to be more intentional. I couldn't rely on my normal routine, so I had to slip workouts and read into the pockets of time that I did have. It reminded me how much discipline shows up in the transitions and not in the big moments. The biggest adjustments were planning ahead. Fitting that outdoor workout in earlier was key, and not waiting until 9 p.m. to start my water intake. None of it was super dramatic, small tweaks that I made. When I'm tempted to say I don't have time, I push through that by prioritizing the important things first. This morning, I was responsible for drop off and pickup. I had that split second thought, maybe I can just push the workout to later, but we all know that later rarely works. So I just shifted things forward and got the ball rolling early. I also tend to struggle with small snack temptations throughout the day, and it has shown me that discipline isn't about resisting huge temptations, it's about saying no to the small slips. And those small choices stack up, which then leads me to other times in my life when I've made those small adjustments and I've had a big impact. One of those moments was training for the Ironman 70.3 in Boulder. I was a terrible swimmer. I couldn't swim more than maybe 100 meters without having to either stop halfway down the lane or maybe having a cough and then choke and then ultimately having to stop again. But I just consistently kept showing up 2 to 3 times a week, swimming at my own pace. And before I knew it, I was swimming a mile in less than 50 minutes. And my goal was to swim a mile in an hour. So that was one example. The other example was I did a 50K ultra marathon up in the mountains a couple of years back. I am notorious for just not training a whole lot before these big events. I didn't have a whole lot of time, and I remember reading a book that talked about, it's called the 80-20 rule, how 80% of our workouts should be zone 2, zone 3, and then 20% of them should be in that zone 4 or 5. And so I dedicated my workout to that 80% of zone 2, zone 3. And so it was just showing up consistently, not necessarily overworking, but just doing enough each day. And while I didn't entirely meet my 6-hour, 45-minute goal that I had in mind, I was able to complete the race, and I felt, for the most part, fine after the race. Another part of this challenge that I have found to be one of the harder parts is the water intake. It's one of those things that you can't just wait till the very end to drink an entire gallon of water. You have to be consistent throughout the day and just take small sips throughout the day, and it makes it a lot more manageable and a lot easier. With that, I've learned that feeling behind doesn't mean that you can't win. Consistency levels the playing field, and that's exactly how 75 hard feels. Another great question is, what does steady and manageable feel like right now, and why is that where the magic happens? Steady and manageable feels honest, it's sustainable, and that's where all the real transformation comes from. In that same book, the 80-20 rule, he talks about if you go out and you give 80 to 100% effort. For example, if you're not a runner and you're going out and you are in zone 4, zone 5 throughout your entire run, the next day you're gonna wake up and you're gonna feel sore and you're not gonna wanna run it. Whereas if you go out and you purposefully don't let yourself push as hard as it wants to, but you take a step back and you know, I'm gonna run for X amount of time, and I'm just gonna make sure that my heart rate stays within this zone, whether it's an incline, whether it's a decline, you wanna stay within that zone. It allows your body to go a further distance without getting as fatigued. And so the next day, you're gonna wake up and you're not gonna be sore, but you have built some endurance, and so you'll be able to do that more often. I have also noticed that through those small, consistent steps, my productivity has improved throughout this journey. It is sharper because I know that my time is limited. Consistency forces me to focus on those small windows. And by focusing on those small windows, I'm becoming someone who follows through, someone that my kids can model, and that's who I'm building here. Therefore, today's key insight is that consistency compounds and intensity burns out. Which leads to the next point. How do I intend to show up tomorrow? Tomorrow, I want to keep the same steady rhythm, start early, stay disciplined in the small moments, and not let the day control me. And I will leave you with this. Stop chasing intensity, start honoring your consistency. Consistency is the superpower. If today's message hit home, do me a favor, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it with someone who needs a little extra push today. It helps the mission grow, and it helps more people start turning their own challenges into victory. And as always, remember, envision, strategize, execute. Thanks for watching.